get into taking some notes, but I think I'm going to start out with some flashcards that I created because it's been a while because of where I got my days and nights mixed up. I haven't been studying that lately, but I want to. I want to get back into it. I want to get my Network Plus. I got my CompTIA just recently in August, so I guess it hasn't been that recently, but a couple months ago I got my CompTIA, and I enjoyed the studying for it. I liked studying for it. I thought it was really fun. I went to college. I went to um, Bridge Valley and WVP. I didn't care for it. I really didn't. I thought some of the work they gave me was ridiculous. Um, but like I just recently got into taking certifications that literally teach you mostly all of the same thing, um, except you can actually do it faster, and I felt like I learned more. So I'm definitely a guy who prefers certifications. I might go back to college just so it'll look good on my resume. Um, like just to finish it off and get my associate's degree. But it wasn't a great experience for me. I didn't really care for it too much, but if I have to do it, I'm gonna do it. That way it looks better on my resume. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. So I like using this application called Anki. They do have it on cell phone as well. It is called Anki, and I use it for studying. I like using it for flashcards, and I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but it's there we go. I can zoom in. There you go. Um, that's better. All right. So I made these myself, and we just have to figure out. Let's just go ahead and do the studying, just what I have right here. So we should be able to just click on networking. There we go. So we have 150 cards. So the way Anki works is really interesting. So you can either make a custom deck that allows you to study from the very beginning, or you can actually just do a review, which what it does is it takes the cards that it thinks that you need to review. I think it's like a weird algorithm, and it gives it to you, and it like uses those cards for your next review session. So it automatically picks up where it thinks that the cards you need to work on more is, and gives it to you based on how many days have passed. So it kind of like works with your memory in that way. So it's really cool. And I already know I have a lot of studying to do. I have a bunch. So what is the standard bandwidth and distance for a Cat 3? I have no idea what the standard is. Do not ask me what the standard with. The bandwidth, I want to say it's like 100 MB, but I could be wrong. And the distance is 100 meters. So I'm going with 100 MB and 100 meters. I think I can press space. Oh my god, I was way off on the bandwidth. So the bandwidth is actually 10 MB. But I did get the distance right. It is 100 meters. Alright, and then what you do is you just go down here, and if you got it wrong, you click again. I know there's controls that you can press, but I think it showed it. Did it show it? I don't know, I didn't see it. What is software-defined networking? So I think I remember this one. Software-defined networking is basically networking hardware, except from software, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like, so you have an application that actually controls the hardware, kind of like device drivers. You know how device drivers actually control um, the hardware? Same difference except for networking, basically. So what is software-defined networking? Software-defined, I don't think I said it right, but that is basically what it is. So what is software-defined networking? Software-defined networking enables the network to be intelligently and centrally controlled or programmed using software applications. Enables the network to be intelligently controlled. Yeah, so it's enabling the network to be controlled using a software application, basically. So that's basically what it is. You are controlling a network from a software. So that's pretty much what I said. It talks about the application layer here. Well, it's saying that that would be on the application layer. Focuses on the communication resource requests or information about the network as a whole. And then so application layer focuses on so it's saying what the application layer is basically, and then control layer uses the information from the application and decides how to route a data packet. And then it talks about infrastructure layer, contains the network devices that receive information about where to move the data and then perform those movements. Provides a layer of abstraction between your devices and the controlled data management plane. Uses to monitor traffic condition and the status of the network. So basically, software-defined networking is being able to use an application to control the network. That is what software-defined networking is, basically. And we got to do that one again. What does the voice over topology look like? It looks really weird. He said we didn't need to know this for the test, but we will go ahead and take a look at it. So this is what it looks like, the VoIP. I don't know what RTP is. There's some sort of RTP between the telephone, and that looks like a router to me. That looks like a switch, actually. I just don't know what RTP means. I should know what SIP is, but I can't remember, actually. And then there's some sort of call agent. I have no idea what that is. Maybe like a server that manages the calls. A PBX, I don't know what it is either. I wonder if there's I don't know. Alright, so that one we're going to say easy because we don't actually have to know that for the test. What is the port? Oh, not the port question. The port questions are so freaking hard to remember sometimes. So what is the port for Remote Desktop Protocol, RDP, and what does it do? It's like 3389, I believe. I believe the port for RDP is 3389. And it's for remoting into computers to control them. Kind of, I mean, essentially the same thing as what we just now talked about. But RDP is what that is. I'm going with 3389 for the port, if I remember correctly. And the remote desktop protocol. And what does it do? What it does is it controls desktops. So I know there's an example on here, like Windows has an application, which is a good example. It does the same exact thing. You can literally remote into someone's computer and control it. Zoom is another example. You can actually use Zoom to let someone else's computer control yours. Yep, got it. Yep, Remote Desktop Protocol is 3389. It's a proprietary protocol developed by Microsoft. I didn't know it was proprietary. I wonder what. Hmm, interesting. Which there is an application on Windows that you can use for RDP. So we got that one right. What is support for SQLnet protocol and what does it do? I can never remember this one, but I know it's like in the thousands. It's like 3,000 something or 1,059. That one I have got to study more. Yeah. Port 1521. I can never remember these. What is multicast for IPv6? I know what multicast is, I think. So multicast is whenever, for example, we send a message, right? we send a message. We send one message, so one email, for example, to multiple computers. That's multicast. I don't know if there's a difference between IPv4 and IPv6, but that's what I'm going with. So data travels from a single source to multiple, but specific destination devices. Yeah, so I was right. That's what I meant by multicast. So he literally sends the same message to multiple computers. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. How do you convert decimal to binary? No! Crap, I forgot about this one. Decimal to binary. How do we convert decimal to binary? Dude. I can't remember this one. We're gonna have to remember this one. So use subtraction. So to convert decimal to binary. Okay, so yeah, you would use subtraction. So you got 128. I'm sorry if you guys can't see that, but right here, I can barely actually see it. Let me see if I can zoom out. Well, anyways, it's like 2 to the 7th, 2 to the 6th, 2 to the, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have 128, which is 2 to the something. I don't know what it is. 2 to the 1. Well, anyways, what they're saying is you want to subtract the numbers you have. So let's say that this is a. Actually, no, you wouldn't do that. Well, they give you a number, right? I guess they would give you a list of numbers. Oh, yeah, they would give you a number because we're reading this from left to right. And let's say they wanted you to convert decimal to binary to 167, right? Well, 167, you would subtract 128 because that's the first one in that list, which is 128. I can at least read that. And that's 2 to the something power. I can't read what power it's to, but we can go back and look at that in his notes. Okay. I need to read some of drink some of this coffee. So you would start from left to right, so at the highest number, because this is when you're subtracting. This is when you're converting decimal to binary. So you'd start from left to right. You'd do 167 minus 128, which would give you 39. Okay, awesome. Now we're going to go all the way to 39, and it's going to tell you whether it's going to be a 0 or a 1, because we're going from decimal to binary, right? So if you guys read that from left to right, he's explaining to you what either you're going to get a 1 or a 0. And then you can actually check your number by adding them all back up, just in case you think you got it wrong. So we will need to do that one again. We just need to remember to use subtraction with the table to convert decimal to binary. So you would definitely have, yeah. What port is Post Office Protocol version 3 over SSL? So POP3 over SSL. What does it do? Well, obviously, I know what it does. It's basically an encrypted version of POP3, which is for receiving emails. Now, what port it is, I don't know because I don't really study the encrypted version. I know POP3 is 110, I'm pretty sure. And then IMAP is 143, the originals without encryption, but with SSL, which is an encrypted version, I believe. I don't know. I don't know what the port. It's really weird. It's like one of those big numbers. Yeah, 995 is what it is. Yeah, it's a secure encrypted way to receive emails. That's another one we're gonna have to go over again. Awesome. What is Global System for Mobile Communications? I believe that's like GSM is. I want to say that it's like the GPS. Like that's what it sounds like Global System for Mobile Communications. Like if you're using your GPS, that's global. That's like over the all because we have a bunch of satellites. It's across the globe. I mean, we can go for it. All right, that's my guess. My guess is it is. That's what it is. A cellular that takes your voice. Oh, I was way off. It's actually a cellular technology that converts your voice from into digital data. So it converts noise into digital data, basically. A SIM card is used to identify yourself to the network. That's like your ID, basically. But GSM is what converts your voice to data. Okay, that's what I'm going with. What is the standard bandwidth and distance for Cat 3? Standard's weird. I'm not memorizing the standard. Screw the standard. Screw the standard. I don't want to memorize the standard. But the bandwidth. Oh, guys. I can't remember the bandwidth now. Oh, I remember it now. It was 10 megabytes. The bandwidth is 10 megabytes, and the distance is 100. 100 meters. 10 megabytes, 100 meters. Go. 10 megabytes, 100 meters. Boy! I'm not too worried about the standard. Um, I mean, it's just 1,000 base. I guess the standard is, but there is like TX at the end. I mean, we can memorize it, but it's just gonna be a hassle. So I'm not really too worried about it. But we did get that. We did get that. So I'm gonna say easy. What is software-defined networking? Remember, we talked about this. Software-defined networking is when um, whenever you're controlling a network from software, basically. That is software-defined networking. So software-defined networking is essentially controlling software. So you are controlling a network based off of an application, so to speak. Enables network to be intelligently centrally controlled or programmed using a software application. Good enough. Oh my, I have no idea what that is. VLSM? I've never even heard of VLSM before. I do not know what VLSM. 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 What is VLSM? I want to say it's something virtual, but I don't know. Allows subnets of various sizes to be used. Allows subnets of various sizes to be used. Requires a routing protocol that supports it. RIP. So some sort of routing. Basically, it is subnetting subnets. Without VLSM, all subnets would have to be the same size. Allows subnets of various sizes to be used. So this one has, okay, so it's like a standard that allows you to use different sizes of subnets, essentially. And if you look here at the picture, it says 256 IPs, and these two only have 128. So as you can see, 24, 25, 25. So VLSM is allowing that to happen. That's standard. Originally, you couldn't allow that to happen because of I don't know why, but VLSM lets you do that. So we will do that again. What is the port for SQL? It was 15 something. Like 14, 15 maybe? Is it 14, 15? I don't know. Port 1521. Ah! It's used for communication from a client to an Oracle database. Okay, so that's kind of what makes it unique is port 1521 is to an Oracle, so a Java. Oracle is Java, pretty much. So it's a Java database. 1521. 15, port 1521. Let's remember that. Used for communication from a client to an Oracle database. 1521, 1521, 1521. Okay. 1521. 1521. Remember, 1521. Ah, jeez, this is rough. What is the port for NetBIOS and what does it do? um, Hold on a second. My sister sent me something. Oh, great. This is so dumb. Yeah, I'm not. No, it's some stupid. That was dumb. Anyways. Dude, NetBIOS. I don't know. What is NetBIOS? I don't know it. It's port 139. Network-based input-output system? Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense now. So it's a network-based input-output. It provides services allowing applications on separate computers to communicate over the local area network for file and printer sharing. So, I mean, whenever I think of NetBIOS, that makes me think of like keyboard, mouse. Like that's where you get those drivers over, except you're doing it over a network. Port 139, port 139, NetBIOS, port 139, port 139. Okay, port 139, port 139. All right, we're gonna have to do that again. Port 139, and it's NetBIOS. So whenever you're thinking of NetBIOS, think of BIOS except over the network, and it's port 139. Okay. Goodness. Oh, it did tell me the shortcut key. The shortcut key for again is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the shortcut keys are 1, 2, 3, and 4 from left to right. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna do that one again, obviously. I should know this one. What is the port for Simple Network Management Protocol? That's what P stands for. Protocol. Simple Network Management. I don't remember. Crap. Port 161 is Simple Network Management Protocol, and it provides a collection and or organization provides collection and organization of information about managed devices on IP networks. A collection and organization of information about managed devices on IP networks. So it gives you information about everything on a network. Simple Network Management Protocol can modify that information to change device behavior, commonly used in network devices. So basically, it gives you information on what's on your network, and you can actually change the behavior of what's on the network as well. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's port 161, 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 simple network management. Let's go. All right, let's try to remember that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to remember that or not, but how do you convert decimal to binary? All right, do you guys remember? Put in the chat if you remember. Okay, no one's putting anything in the chat. Okay, but anyways, basically what you do is you subtract. So, like in the example, I think they had like 169. So, you have to have the binary number, and you have to have the um the 1 with that chart. Remember that chart? So, basically you subtract where there's a 1 based on the chart, right? So, let's look at it again. That way I can show you guys. So, see how there's a 1 right there? So, you're going to start right there, and you're going to subtract based off of 128. There's another 1 right there, see? And that equals 32. All right, you're subtracting what you got here by 32. Okay, so we're going over to the 7. So we got 7. Now we're subtracting 4 because there's a 1 right there. And that's how you do that. That's how you would do that. And then you have, and then you would add all of these. See where it says minus? You would add those to make sure you got the right number, which is 167. So that would be right because that's what we started with. All right, so we got that one right. So we're going to say easy. What is a dedicated lease line? I'm trying to think. I can't remember. Because these are really weird. A dedicated lease line. Dang it, I can't remember. Why can't I remember? I want to check something really quick on my to-do list. Okay, so our study goals. So this is what we still have to take some notes on right here. If you guys can see this. You guys probably can't read it, but I have a lot of objectives I still need to cover in Dion's notes, which I plan on doing soon. But anyways, let's just go ahead and get back to studying. Let me see what time it is. All right, it's 9:30. Let's just take a 5-minute break real quick. We're just gonna take a 5-minute break because I am dying right now. Like, I just need to get up and take a 5-minute. I get burned out so quickly with this. But let's take a 5-minute break and we will be right back. I just need to get up and stretch a little bit. I'm back. Sorry, I had to take a little bit longer of a break. Alright. Now heading back on here with what we got here. What is a dedicated lease line? I cannot remember, actually. I think it's like... No, I can't remember. Okay, so it's a point-to-point connection between two sites. See, that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't 100% sure. So it's a point-to-point connection between two sites. All bandwidth on the line is available all the time. Digital circuits are measured in 64 kilobytes per second channels called digital signal 0. Channel service unit / data service unit is used to terminate the digital signals at customers' demarcation point. Common digital circuits include T1, E1, blah, 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 blah. Examples of digital signal levels. Carrier T1, signal level DS1, number of voice channels. So what is this? I mean, if it's saying voice channels, that usually means, like, hey, let's use this to talk. Like Frontier, for example. That's what I'm getting from this. Because if it's a dedicated lease line, that might mean basically a voice channel, since it's literally saying voice channel, so I'm thinking that's what they use it for, voice over IP. I figure that's what they use it for. I'm not 100%. But, I mean, 34 megabytes a second, if that's actually available, that's really, you could use that for internet. That's not bad. Anyways, it's a point-to-point connection between two sites. All bandwidth on the line is available all the time. So just remember, it's a point-to-point connection between two sites. Now, I don't know if there's something in the middle. I think there is. I do believe there's something in the middle, like, let's say Frontier, for example. So the lease line would go from your house to Frontier, I guess, to other people's houses. Like on some sort of telephone pole, I'm assuming. So we will do that again. It's a point-to-point connection between two sites, though. Guaranteed. Okay, that is a little too hot. What port is Post Office Protocol version 3 of your SSL? That one I can tell you. I know what it is. POP3 is another email service for receiving emails, but I can't remember what the port is. I know what it does, I just don't know the port. Port 995. Crap, we went over this earlier. I forgot. Port 995. Come on. Like, let's see. Let's just think of like a nice Coke with 995 in it, with 995 ice cubes in it. That'll help me memorize it. POP3 995. What is Global System for Mobile Communication? Ah, I remember this one. It has to do with cell phones. How did I forget this? Like, I shouldn't have forgot that. Oh, that's right. GSM is what converts your voice into digital data. And it also talks about SIM cards, which is what's used to identify who you are. But that's what GSM is. The Global System for Mobile Communications is what converts your data, or what converts your voice into data. Takes your voice during a call and converts it into data. And a SIM card is used to identify. Nice. What is VLSM? Are you freaking... Oh yeah, I remember what VLSM is. VLSM is the standard that allows you to basically subnet subnets. So it allows you to use one subnet with, let's say, a WAC25 and then another subnet with WAC24. So if we look at this, as you can see, there's a WAC24 here, meaning we're using 24 ones, and a WAC25, meaning we're using 25 ones. So it allows us to subnet in various sizes. So we got that one. So what is the port for SQLnet? Oh, bro, I don't know how I forgot this. It was like 2015, I want to say. It's used for Oracle, I remember. It's like 2015. Oh my, it's 1521. Are you kidding me? The 15 comes before, and it's for Oracle databases. Ah, what a pain. I freaking hate when that happens. So it's 1521, and it's communication for a client. It's literally used for the communication between a client and an Oracle database. Ah, gosh, this is so irritating. I hate that. 1521 is what it is. Ah, NetBIOS. I know what it is. It's basically like being able to use input-output devices on over a network. It's what port you use for that. But I cannot remember what the port number is. What is the port number? I don't think... Is it 995? That's my final answer, 995. 139. 995 was the POP, wasn't it? POP with SSL. Crap! We're gonna have to memorize that. 139. What is the port for Simple Network Management Protocol, and what does it do? So I know what it does, but the port number I'm not 100% sure. Simple Network Management Protocol basically allows you to manage devices on the network and to also basically control them in certain ways. But I can't remember what the port number is. 161. What is the port for IMAP? IMAP. We haven't even covered this, so I have no idea. 993. Interesting. Similar to the POP3, except it's 993. POP3 is 995. How do you convert 49 to binary? To binary? You would subtract, I think? Because to convert a... Let's see, so... You would do 32. So you would subtract 49 minus 32. And then 17 minus 16. And then 1 minus 1, which is 1, 0. So, oh. Oh, I see. So you would start with a number. No, I'm still confused here. So 49 minus 32. So you can subtract 49 from 32. So you'd put a 1 there. And then you get 17. Can you subtract 17 minus 16? Yes, and get 1. Can you subtract 1 minus 8? You can't, because it'd be a negative. And you can't, because it'd be a negative. Can you subtract 1 minus 1? You can, and it would be 0. So do you see the pattern here? So basically, you can't subtract 49 from 128, or you'd end up with a negative. So you'd put a 0. Same with 64. But when you get to 32, you would get a positive. That'd be 17. So you would put a 1 there. So that's kind of the difference there. What is the port for lightweight directory? I have no idea. I don't even know what it does. 389. It's an open, vendor-neutral industry standard for accessing and maintaining directory information. It's basically a directory service, like a file server, I guess, because that's basically what it is. An Active Directory. It's some sort of directory service. Subnet masks. What are the classical subnet masks? Okay, what are classical subnet? Uh, yeah, we're gonna have to go over this because I'm not 100% sure. Alright, guys, we're gonna pause the stream real quick. I need another break. We're gonna take a 10-minute break here, and we will come back at 10. So for now, bear with me, and then we'll be back at 10 o'clock. Come stop by if you guys haven't already been by. But we will return at 10 o'clock. I just need a little break because I'm like one of those people that I'm like studying for like 10 minutes and I'm like, okay, yeah, I need a break already. So I swear I have ADHD. But anyways, let's just go ahead and take a 10-minute break and then we'll come back and keep on studying because we got a lot to go through still. Alright, I'm back, guys. Let's get some more studying in. Go back to the live scene. So, we're doing some studying for the Network Plus, and we are on what is classical subnets. Subnet masks. That, I honestly cannot remember. I know it's like, I think the classical subnet masks are where it's like 255, 255, 255. That would be a classical subnet mask. So, for example, let's say you have an IP address that's 192.168.1.2. So a classical subnet mask would be 255, where the 192 is, and that would be like a type A classical subnet mask. Now think of that IP address I just now said, and below it visualize 255, 255. That would be a class B, and then visualize a class, and a class C would be 255, 255, 255 underneath of it. So those are like the three classical subnet masks, and then after that, it kind of turns into like your custom subnet masks, basically. So let's go ahead and take a look at the answer. So yeah, so these three are the three classical subnet masks. So you got the first, which is a type A. So classical subnet masks are classified as class A, B, and C, and they are in the red. That's what this says down here if you guys can't see it. So this is a classical subnet mask. That would be a type A, WAC 8. You got 255, 255, which is a class B, WAC 16. And then 255, 255, 255, which is a class C, WAC 24. So basically, the way this works is you have to have, if you have a network and you're using a WAC 8, you have to have a number such as, let's say, now I could be wrong about this, but just using it as an example, you have to make it, let's say 168 or 192. Let's say 192. After that, it doesn't matter what numbers you're using. Like this could be 192 1.1.2. And then after that, it could be 192 1.1.3, and so on and so forth. You could make a bunch of them with a WAC 8. Now, let's say we go down to class B, the WAC 16. You would have to make it so the network ID, there's a network ID that has to be the same on every network. So for WAC B, it would have to be 192.168.1.2, 192.168.1.3, 192.168.1.4, for example. And that goes for this too. So for class C, it'd be 192.168.1.1, 192.168.1.2. Because where the ones are, that's known as the network ID. And where the 0 is, that's known as the host ID. So the host ID has to be different, but the network ID has to be the same on every computer. And that's kind of what they're trying to get across here. So what is a classical subnet mask? There's 3 different types, and there's a network ID, and there's a host ID. So, all right, that one was pretty easy. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. What is a dedicated lease line? We just covered this basically because I got it wrong. What a dedicated lease line is basically, think of telephone lines is basically a dedicated. It's a point-to-point connection between buildings. So I think a dedicated lease line would probably be like, let's say Frontier is your central point. Well, you would basically be connecting, you'd be connecting to that central building so that you could connect to all the others. So like with a phone line, all those phone lines would connect centrally to Frontier. So that's the point-to-point connection they're talking about. And then based off of through them, you would through Frontier, you could talk to other people because everyone else is connected. It's a point-to-point connection. And that's what a dedicated lease line too is. I'd say they mostly use them for voice over IP because it's just too slow for internet. Point-to-point connections. As you can see down here, there's different types of point-to-point connections. You have different carriers types. You have different signal levels. Obviously, you want the DS4 because it's the fastest signal level. I mean, you could probably use that for internet, honestly, but that's basically what it is. I think they mostly use it for telephones, so I get they might make internet for dedicated lease lines, but I've never heard of anyone with a dedicated lease line used for internet. What is the port used for Post Office Protocol version 3 over SSL? And the port number is 995 for POP3. And basically what it does is it allows you to receive emails that's encrypted, right? So the emails that you're receiving would go over an encrypted network instead of like you using the regular POP3, and people could get Wireshark, for example, and see what and look at that packet over the internet. But with this, it's encrypted, so the people aren't going to know. And that was port 995, secure encrypted way to receive emails. And that is a protocol, by the way. It's an email protocol. What is the port for SQLNet? What is the port for SQLNet? And what does it do? So this is a protocol. So the port number is 1521. And what does it do? What it does is I'm trying to think. Oh, it allows a connection with basically a Oracle database. And that's kind of like what the port does. It opens up to that Oracle database. So like I said, port 1521, used for communication from a client to an Oracle database. Say easy on that one. What is the port for? Internet Message Access Protocol over SSL, so IMAP. Do. And what does it do? Well, I know what it does. I know it does, but the protocol, um, the port, I'm not sure what the port is, but I know what it does. It's the same thing as what we just now talked about for the 995 port. It's an encrypted way of receiving emails, essentially. Now the ports are hard to remember, but we'll go ahead and try it. So it's 993. So next time we run into this, just subtract 2 from the POP3. IMAP POP3. IMAP POP3. Subtract 2. 993. 993. 993. 993. And again, like I said, secure and encrypted way to receive emails again. We just got to remember that port number. Got to remember the port number. All right, what is the port for NetBIOS and what does it do? Are you kidding me? NetBIOS. We just now talked about this too a minute ago. NetBIOS is basically, think of your computer BIOS. It's an input-output system except it's over the network. It's not physical. It's not on your system read-only memory. It's actually over a network. So it allows you to use your mouse, your keyboard, all that stuff over a network. But the port number, I'm not sure. I'm terrible at remember port numbers. Don't judge me. What is the port? 139. Okay, now I remember. It's 139. Can't believe I forgot that. And we're going to take a test on this, too. After I look up if I'm allowed to share it, because I got the Jason Dion practice test, but I don't know if I'm allowed to share that information over a stream. But I will let you know what I get on it. I don't know if I'm going to take it today or not, because we're still kind of struggling with these flashcards, but after we get done with these flashcards, I probably will. What is the port for SNMP and what does it do? SNMP, I cannot remember. Wait, what is the port for SNMP? Oh. Well, I know POP3 and IMAP are like 110 and 143, but I cannot remember SNMP. Classic. Port 161. It provides a collection and organization of information about a managed device. Simple network management. Ah! Gosh, you guys do not know how irritating this feels. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it provides collection and organization of information about a managed device. So basically, devices on the network, it provides you with information, is what it does. It can modify that information as well, so it can change the behavior of it. Like, for example, let's say it's on a network and you notice it's using up a bunch of resources that you don't want it to use up, like the internet, for example. You could go in and do I think it's called QoS, quality of service, and you can turn it down to where it can only use so much. But that is port 161. What is the port for lightweight directory access and what does it do? I know it has to do with like accessing directories, like databases. Actually, I don't even think it's a database. It's just like a file, like a directory, like some sort of directory. And a directory is basically just like, think of your folders. Like a directory is literally like think of command prompt, how you're like going through different files and it's like a tree. That's all a directory is. That's port 389, open vendor neutral for accessing and maintaining distributed directory information services. Oh, you can use it for, I guess, remoting into an Active Directory too. Huh. What is the port for MySQL and what does it do? It's really weird. It's usually like 1,000, like 3,000, 3,306. Used for communication from a client to the MySQL database engine. Use communication from a client to MySQL. Okay. Port 3303. 3306, I mean, not 3303. WiMAX is really weird, and I can't even remember. I think it uses satellite. Worldwide interloping. Oh no, it's like a microwave. And it uses an antenna on the roof. WiMAX is faster than 3.5G. So just remember that it uses an antenna and it uses microwave and an antenna. It's the main thing we want to remember there. What are virtual desktops? That's a pretty easy one. So virtual desktops are literally what it says. It's just a desktop that you can use to virtualize. For example, they make hypervisors for virtual desktops. For example, VMware, which I have installed on my computer right now. You can download the ISO file of like Windows. I'm not sure if you can do it with Mac. I've actually never seen Mac, but I'm sure there's a way around. Linux, for example, you can run those through a hypervisor, and that's what a virtual desktop is. That's all it is. Um, I forgot to mention that you can do it remotely too. I didn't think about that. You can access them remotely over the cloud. I'm sure there's a way to set that up. I don't know. I've never set one up myself. I think it'd be interesting to set up, but that is what it is, essentially. So it's a user's desktop computer run in a browser. You're doing it from a virtual location, so that kind of makes sense. But I'm sure, I mean, yeah, I kind of got that wrong, but you guys know what I meant. You can, I mean, yeah, I guess you could do it that way. All right, we'll do that one again. I was thinking that's what it meant, but it's not. That is not what it meant. But so it's basically when you're running it from a different location as a virtual desktop. What is a circuit switched connection? This is really weird, actually. It's it's one of those wide area connection questions, and I don't know, it's super weird. Connection is brought up only when needed, like making a phone call. So it's like an on-demand bandwidth. It saves money, and you only connect to it periodically. So that is a circuit switch connection. We'll go over that one again. What is the port for SMB? I have no idea. No freaking clue. Port 445 provides shared access to files, printers, and miscellaneous between devices on a network. So it provides shared access to files, printers, and miscellaneous communications between devices on a network. Server message block. I mean, that makes sense. It is a server, so it's sharing stuff, it's serving, and it's sharing it between devices. Server message block 445. Not this. Not this. PPP. I can't remember what it stands for. Yep, I'm done. I don't even know. It stands for Password Authentication Protocol. No, that's PAP. Chap. I'm confused. Wait, what is the PPP authentication methods? So this is PPP authentication methods. Geez, I have no idea. This is crazy. So there's different authentication. You have PAP, CHAP, MS CHAP, and that's it. Bro, that's a lot to remember. We'll do it again, though. What is elasticity? Honestly, it's like, think of a rubber band. It's like on-demand way to expand or not expand. I don't know the word for it. It's like a way to expand and not expand, if that makes sense. Let's see. So attempts to match the resources allocated. So it matches the resources allocated with the actual amount of resources needed. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Basically, it's like if you need more resources, it meets that. If you want to decrease the workload, it's like a fast way of doing it. It doesn't take a long time, is what elasticity means. And this is mostly used for cloud services, like cloud services have elasticity. I'm going to say easy because we basically got that right. We just couldn't explain it well. well. What are the benefits of data centers? The benefits? Cloud computing is one. You can like have a data center and then you can like store all your files. Remote accessed is another one. Because let's say, for example, you own a big company and you have to have a backup of your data. Because if that data gets corrupted or disappears, you're going to lose a bunch of money, right? So let's say we have backups at the data center. The data center provides backups. That's a benefit. Or like another example I like that Jason Dion usually uses is what if a natural disaster happens, like a flood, a tornado, whatever, and it destroys all your computer equipment. Boom, back up at a data center. So that's the benefits. That's some of the big benefits. But performance, management, scalability, and redundancy. Yeah, definitely. I'd say we're good. What is the port for Internet Message Protocol? We just now went over this. The port is 993, and it's for receiving emails, encrypted emails, like over an encrypted network. Yay! We finally got it. What is network as a service? No, I don't know this. Uh, oh gosh, guys, this is hard. And we still have like 125 cars left. Why am I doing this to myself? What is network as a service? I actually enjoy doing this. This is my first time actually just like studying over the over stream, but I definitely enjoy it. I think it's fun. I think it's fun having viewers, and like I definitely um I think I'm learning it better actually with being on stream. So it's pretty cool. So network as a service. I honestly don't know what this is, but my guess, if I were to guess, I would say it's like, let's say network as a service is like being able to be on a network so that you could remotely access a virtual computer. Like I feel like that would be network as a service. Like an example of it. Allows outsourcing, allows outsourcing of the of a network to a service provider. Hosted offsite at the service provider's data center, and the customer is billed for use. Okay. Charged by hours, processing power, or bandwidth. So you're using their network, I guess. That's weird. We'll go back over this one. What time is it? It's only 10:23. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's the NetBIOS again. NetBIOS. I cannot remember the port. Maybe I do. I remember the port number. NetBIOS is 139, and it's basic input and output of a system over a network, just not physically. We did it! We did it! We finally got NetBIOS right! Awesome. What is LDAP? LDAP. I think it's 161, and it's directory access. It's like accessing a file system, basically. No! It was 389! I know there's a 161 somewhere. I think this one was 161, and it's for mail. It's for network management. Yeah, this one's this 161, and it's for like managing devices on a network, basically. I knew it. I knew it. This one's like 3,306, and it's for like connecting the client to MySQL. Yep, that was right. Used for communication from a client to a MySQL database engine. I actually used that port before, by the way. All right, we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna take a break. It's 10:25, so we'll come back at like 10:30ish. So just go ahead and take a little break. Just go make you something to drink. Maybe go get a snack. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'll be right back. Um, don't leave because we will be continuing some of the studying. But I am gonna get up for a moment and just stretch my legs, and I'll be right back, and we will continue our study session. Stay tuned. Alright guys, I am back. And we are going to try... I don't think we're going to finish this. So, we're going to go ahead and stop right here. Um, Thank you for watching. I hope everyone had a good time doing some studying with me. I will be doing some more studying later. I don't think... I don't know, we might do some studying later, but I need a little cat nap. I'm so tired right now for no reason. So I'm going to take me a little cat nap, and I'll be back on later. But in the meantime, you guys have a good time. And